There it is, Filip. Filip, right?
Filip. Close
Filip.
enough. Yeah, that was a good one.
That was better.
Yeah.
How do you say your last name?
Walczuk.
Walczuk. Spelled with a W.
Yes, sir. NCZ.
And where is that from?
From Poland.
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 You are the first person from Poland.
And you probably have no idea where it is.
I mean, I know where it is, but I don't know where it is.
It's right next to Germany.
Yeah.
So like everybody recognizes Germany, so that's what I tell them. We're east from Germany.
Well,
right
that's why I asked you, like, oh, hockey player.
I guess, yeah, it is cold, but it's not that cold.
Yeah.
So we don't really play much hockey. Maybe it's also expensive to play hockey to get all the gear and stuff.
Yeah. Oh, it's
I
very
might be wrong.
expensive.
Yeah.
Very expensive.
So
I did it here,
sense.
and just on a low level, it's expensive.
Yeah, there you go. That's probably the reason we don't play hockey.
So, born and raised there.
Mm-hmm.
Until when?
Until I was 18. So I'm 26 right now. Oh,
Here, pull the mic closer and face it up toward you. There you go. All right.
It's been a while. Like the other day I was trying to count it, and it's been like almost 8 years, I guess. Yeah. It's been almost 8 years since I got here. So I'm 26, and I got here when I was 18. So it's going to be 8 years this year, I think.
Wow.
So it's been a while, yeah.
Quite an adjustment.
Yeah, at first especially, whenever I got here, not knowing English, and I mean, I knew English, but just seeing all the signs in English, the first few weeks, like you get headache just because you have no break. But at the same time, I always tell everyone that I feel like with technology nowadays and being able to call it my parents, being able to just have access to Polish media of different kind, that makes it so much easier. So like people 30 years ago, 40 years ago, you come here and you have no contact with your family or anyone. And I imagine that that's hard. But right now, if I want to watch a movie in Polish or a Polish movie or this or that, I just go online and, I have access to everything.
Oh, I didn't even think about that part.
Yeah, so like I don't have to worry about writing letters and all that. So like whenever I feel like talking Polish, I just call my parents or someone and, I have a Polish conversation. So that's not a big deal anymore.
Do you miss it at all?
Speaking Polish?
Yeah, just being over there and talking and being around the people.
So people, not necessarily. I feel like they're great people wherever you go, and like you just surround yourself with nice people, and like if you go out there, you're gonna find someone that is gonna be fun to be around and all that anywhere you go. But I feel like the only thing I miss is the European culture and European lifestyle. So just not being able to walk anywhere, not being able to, just the life looks like differently here. So I miss that a little bit sometimes. But I always say that my adult life, I got here so long ago that right now my adult life has been here. So probably going back to Poland now would be kind of difficult.
Be strange.
Yeah, because like I don't know how their life looks like there, Like so right now I would say that I suck at both languages, Polish and English. Because I struggle with both sometimes, And like obviously Polish is better and it's uncomparable and I will never forget it, but at the same time all the stories and things that happen here, sometimes there's no translation, there's no word that will describe certain situations that is here, and sometimes like I've said the same story so many times in English and I'm trying to say it in Polish, takes a second, or like I'm trying to describe my job and like scientific words or stuff that I learned in college, and that's just, I think it will be an adjustment, but I'm not planning on going as of right now, so time will show.
Oh, you're not planning on going back at all?
As of right now, not at all. Maybe one day, but not in the near future. There's a whole world that I can experience, and explore. So if I can't stay here, if something doesn't work out here, I can go somewhere else.
So what are the plans? So you currently work here?
Yeah.
In College Station?
Yeah.
So what is your plan to stay down the line? You're looking to move somewhere later on? I mean, how's that? Like, what's life look like for Filip?
Wherever the world takes me. I don't want to make too many plans because then the life verifies it and changes your plans. So like whenever I was in Poland in high school, I never said anything that I would like to come to college to US because I didn't know what's going to happen, because I knew that a lot of things can happen. And actually I had a girlfriend when I was in high school, all throughout high school sweetheart, and then my parents came to me and they're like, hey, would you like to go to US to college? And I was like, yeah, but I have a girlfriend here and we've been together for like a few years now. But you're 17, 18 or whatever you are. And I had to make a decision, And I was like, either I'm getting married right now at the age of 18 or I'm moving. So And I moved, so I left everything behind, and I had no idea that it's going to happen. It was like within a month, I had a ticket, I had everything. I got accepted to the college in here. And so, I had a plan. I applied to Polish college and whatnot. And in Poland, you have to take like an SAT after high school. Uh-huh. So like, it's not an SAT, but like basically it's similar thing. Yeah. Right? And then like Polish universities are free, so you don't pay anything. But so like, let's say that there are 100 universities, but in reality, only a few of them are worth going to, because the rest of them is just basically you get a degree that is not really, doesn't give you much.
Is that from being free?
Yeah, because basically anybody, since it's free, almost anybody can go. And yeah, you have to pass the SAT, but since there are so many of them, and they're like, the money comes from government, right? So basically, yep, so from us, I guess, so you pay for them, but because of that, everybody can go. It doesn't matter if you're a D student, like, and barely pass the high school. Yeah. You're still gonna get into some university since there are so many of them, And so like,
you basically came over here because it's harder, but at the same time, like, you pay for it and it's a little bit more difficult, but you get more out of it.
I would say school is actually easier.
Here?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
So like university?
Yeah. I've never been to MIT or any of those, huge colleges that are like well known around the world, but even A&M, I can definitely say that it was not harder than my high school.
Really?
Yeah, I feel like here, and I like it here because like one of my professors told me that, hey, you guys pay for college and you're basically paying for my salary, right? And I know it's not the case, but that's how he looked at it. So you're basically my employer. So I'm here to help you guys. And yeah, I'm trying to teach you, but like teaching is my job and that's my focus right now. So like he was always available, and I feel like here the professors kind of walk you through everything, and like they give you the different kind of help. They have office hours, they have this and that, and I think that they're just so much more friendly because of that, and like just the culture is different too.
So in Poland they're not the same way?
Not at all.
So you think that's what makes it more difficult? The teaching is not, so the teachers don't show the same care? I'm trying to figure out, because all the proposed stuff with, Bernie Sanders saying he wants to make free, and I don't want to make this political, I'm just curious, you're the first person I've met that's from a place where there is free college, and I know what I think would happen, but I don't know for sure because it hasn't happened. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so obviously I'm probably too young to have a perfect vision of it, and great understanding, but I think it's whenever something is too accessible. So here I feel like the problem is that some people have money and that's why they go to college, because they have money and that's enough. But then in Poland, anybody goes to college. Like everybody can go, and then the degree loses its value. So like, yeah, there are some universities, and then like whenever you go to a certain university, then it's a good degree, and like it doesn't matter that it's free, but you have to be top 15% of the class or something, right? Because only those people are gonna get accepted. So I think that it motivates us to study in high school more, some of us, because depending on how well you do on that SAT or whatever you want to call it, your future depends on it, So like, I would say that there are pros and cons of both, and paying a lot of money obviously filters some people out that are just not capable of paying for it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, maybe there's a little more value to it, because it's not like in Poland, wherever you go, somebody has a degree. And here, if you have a degree, like, I don't want to say minority, but it's not that everyone has it,
Yeah, I mean, it depends. I guess it depends on I feel like more and more people just go. Like, that's the thing. Because you can go, you just have to pay for it. You get out with a lot of debt, which I don't really like that part of it. I think there should be more like working grant, like find your grants, work, pay some of that stuff, maybe live a little bit lower than your means and not party so much. That, like I've seen I never went to college, so I just started working our family business. I really had dreams of being a professional rollerblader. And that's what I was going to do for the rest of my life. I was good at it, and I had friends that were doing it, and I was doing it like on a lower level, and starting to work my way up, and just that was my focus. that was all I cared about. So we owned a food service. I went into that, you know. But I've seen my friends go into college, and I've had some that like go for a purpose. Man, they like work their tail off, and then and they become successful. Like the whole thing falls into place. And then some just go and don't know what they want to do, and then they accumulate, you know, $100,000 in student debt, and they don't go into anything that degree was for, and they're not making a ton of money. So it's I see the pros and cons of it. Of like, I think you need one. I think you need to go. Like we were just talking last night, me and Kim, about our kids going to college. Like it's a must. But at the same time, I don't think they need to have this crazy debt if they're not going into something specific.
So if they don't know what they're going to do with that college.
Yeah.
But, you know, like, I didn't know what I'm going to do. I still don't. So I'm almost 3 years out of college, and I still have no idea what I'm going to do with my life. So, like, I got my first job, and, like, whenever I was getting out of college, I had no idea what I want to do. And my first job just showed me what I don't want to do. So I've had
that's the way you find out, though, really.
Yeah, that's one of the ways, you know.
Yeah.
It pays the bills.
But you're an electrical engineer. What'd you go to school for?
Yeah, electrical engineering. So technically I can do everything and nothing at the same time.
Yeah. So you went for a specific thing. You got it, and you're doing that specific thing.
I mean, everybody said that they are missing engineers. I've been always good at math and science. So I was like, any kind of engineering will do. And if I don't know what I want to do, then electrical sounds like a perfect choice, because they need electricity everywhere. So like that was my train of thought. I was like, if I'm doing something, I'm going to do something that is going to allow me to do anything later. If that makes sense.
Yeah, it's your safety net.
Yeah, and like you think of petroleum engineers, which you work for some stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
So like I don't remember the numbers, so I'm going to just make them up, but like basically they told us that for one petroleum engineer, you need few electrical engineers even on the oil rig. So like being electrical engineer, you're involved everywhere. Any manufacturing, any computer stuff, you know, like you can do literally anything. So starting from coding to generating power. So and maybe
Did you know that when you came from Poland that you were going to do that?
Honestly, not really. Then I was in college and I was thinking, what am I doing? But then I started looking into it and realized that basically, at least engineering degree, and a lot of people say that, and I didn't believe it. And I'm still a little ways away to learn 100% of it. But like, basically engineering is a way of thinking, not a specific major. So if you're going, that's just my opinion at least, that if you go for a doctor degree, you want to be a medicine doctor or physical therapist or teacher, you're kind of going, but teacher maybe not an ideal example, but like you go there and you're doing specific stuff. Or like vet, you're actually learning kind of your trade, if you want to say that. And for electrical engineering, I did everything and nothing. So like they gave us basics on everything, but at the same time they didn't teach us anything specific. So if you want to like proceed with anything, applying for jobs, and like they ask me for experience, I don't have any experience in anything. Like, you know, like I haven't really done much.
But okay, you've also left your mom and dad and gone to a different country to live and go to school. I didn't leave them. No, what I'm saying is like your parents are still in Poland, right?
Yeah, most of my family is still in Poland.
So think about somebody in the United States. They're like, man, where am I going to go to school? How far away am I from mom and dad? You know, that comfort, like the comfort of having your parents right there. You went, like you don't have a choice. Like you said, you can talk to them on the phone and you have that, but they're still there. Like you can't just run down the road or take 3 or 4 hour trip or a plane, like easy little plane ride to them on the weekend.
And I might be wrong, but I think that it actually helps. So I was talking to a friend of mine, a best friend of mine since I have known him since we were born. Like we've known each other all our lives, and we went to elementary school, middle school, like always together, and we would hang out after classes and all that. And I feel like now I appreciate my parents way more than anybody else. Not anybody, but a lot of my friends in Poland. Because whenever you have something, you start taking it for granted. And now every time I get a chance to go, I'm excited to go. And like whenever I'm saving money or saving vacation, I have it in my mind somewhere on the back of my head that, hey, I can go to Poland, you know? I can do this or that. Or like my dad came not too long ago, and I was able to bring him here to Texas for a few days. And it was awesome, like we went for a little trip, we did like a little drive around US, let's say. And then afterwards, I was like, I'm finally at the stage where I can host him here. It's not going to be ideal, but I couldn't host both of them, but I knew that my dad would like it. So I was like, hey, I'm going to bring him here and just show him my school. And I feel like that makes you more excited to see them and appreciate it more. And I call my parents probably way more often than most of the people call theirs.
Probably more than me.
I call them every other day, if not every day.
That's awesome.
And like I drive, and it's partially being bored. Like when you drive somewhere, like some people listen to podcasts, I call my dad, and he drives with me, So like every day I drive to work, I'll give him a call. And if he can't answer, then my mom answers, or my brother, or my other brother. And then whenever I go to Poland, since I don't have friends there anymore, really, like I want to meet up with my high school friends because those are the only people that I still remember, or like, and I'm curious what's happening in their lives. And I feel like people that are still there, they moved on with life, and they're like, oh, I don't care for my high school friends. So yeah, it's different, and like you leave stuff behind, but at the same time you make new friends, and then you appreciate your old relationships differently.
But I think the difficulty of, one, language barrier, two, you leave your parents, who your comfort, your girlfriend, everything. You leave that to come over here to go to school and figure it out while you're here. There is experience in like managing life, and you did it with what you said. You only had like $20,000 in student debt. That's crazy.
And possibly the reason for that is that it was not very easy to get a loan. So like for a foreign person to get a loan in US, it's not as simple as you'd think, which makes sense after all, because like they don't know if I'm gonna stay here or how would they chase me back in Poland, Like I can just split and go, and there's no one to fall onto.
Yeah.
So it was not really easy to get a loan in the first place. But I would say that you have to grow up a little quicker and learn a bunch of things much quicker. But just to put it in perspective, my mom spoiled me. I haven't done laundry until I got to US.
Oh no.
Once in my life. So until I was 18, I haven't done laundry. I haven't cooked more than 5 dinners. And it was just whenever I was cooking with my girlfriend at the time,
Yeah.
And like, other than that, I don't think I've ever done any cooking. Scrambled eggs don't count, but like,
Still cooking.
Of some kind. But like, I don't want to say that I was totally dependent, but at the same time, like my parents did most of the stuff for me or helped me with it. So it's not that they just threw me out there not right away, like throughout my life and prepared me for it. They did in some ways, but like I think that if you want to, you can do anything.
Yeah. So like, did you find that transition hard?
Oh, my first laundry was hilarious. So like, I called my mom, obviously, asked her how to do it. It was in the dorms, and then as I was in those dorms, I had that friend. Her name was Adriana, and I'm like, hey, how do you do the laundry? Like, which ones are? So my mom always splits darks and colorful clothes, right? And I had no idea. I'm like, is that considered color or is that considered white? Should I put it with white shirts or not? And like, she came and helped me, She was there and she helped me. So, slowly but surely I learned. I haven't ironed a shirt. That sounds embarrassing.
I'm terrible. I've tried so many times, so bad at ironing.
And like my parents would do it for me because it was quicker and they didn't want me to destroy a shirt, And I got here. And I remember the first time I was ironing the shirt, the person I borrowed the iron from, when she saw how great I'm doing ironing, she just gave up and did it for me. And yeah, so like, it's not that you have to be super independent to come and leave the parents. You can still manage,
Yeah, but I get that. That's your mindset because you did it. When you said you don't have experience, I was merely pointing out like you have more experience than a lot of other people in a lot of different areas, because to figure out how to survive in a different place is a pretty tough thing to do. To figure out how to survive in a different state in America is a different thing to do. The different cultures and everything, just going from different place to different place, it's a different area. You don't know. If I went and wanted to live in Utah, like we love Utah, so I'm going to go live there, right? I don't have any friends. I don't have any family. I know nobody. It's a different culture. People have a different way of living. The winters are different. The weather is, I'm not prepared for anything. I've got to just figure it out.
Yeah, and you just go there and figure it out, and everything falls in place. And after all, nowadays, if you have a credit card and a phone, that's all you need. Yeah, because like you're not gonna be hungry if you have a credit card and some money on it. And then if you have a phone, you can call for an apartment, this or that, or call an Uber. And so like, you know, if you have those basic things, which I didn't have at first, so like not having a credit card was pretty interesting.
Yeah, because you have to bring in income to have those things.
Yeah, and you said driving. I didn't have a car for the longest time.
Yeah.
So like just actually there was a group of Polish students that came over and they came for a Hyperloop competition. I don't know if you're Hyperloop competition.
No, I don't know what that is.
It was basically like they were designing a tunnel that is gonna be able to transport people between two places really quick, and so like scientific competition, let's say. And those were people applying from all around the world.
Deal that Elon Musk was trying to do in California?
Yeah, that's exactly the one.
Okay.
So like basically what they did, they had a competition online and a bunch of students applied and submitted their proposals and like their theory behind it or like whatever their design was. And obviously there was something that they had provided. I don't know exactly what it was, but long story short, that group from Poland proposed their design and they won like certain region or whatever. They were chosen to come, so they raised the money and they came here, but they landed in Houston and they didn't have a bus organized. They're like, oh, we're gonna get there, and there were like 10 of them, I want to say, and they had no idea, because like in Europe you can go anywhere, just catch a train or a bus and it's gonna be there, you know.
Oh man, and Texas is not that way.
Oh yeah, they got into the airport and they had no way to get there, like, and they started calling and then can't really call because you cannot call with the Polish phone as easily, you know. So like it was a hassle for them. It was a big time struggle and they had no idea. So luckily I didn't have to go through that because I had a call. I lived in dorms for a while, so that was easier. But yeah, you're right that it is a shock, but I feel like maybe now I just don't realize it anymore, that I had to figure out some things out, and catch this bus or that bus that is not as obvious here. Hey, but I made it. I'm here, you know.
Were you excited to come to the US? Like, was there an excitement in your thing, or were you super nervous? Or
I honestly didn't know what to think, because leaving all the friends behind, and I wasn't really scared of the language because I knew that I'm going to learn it, and that's just another thing. That's not a big deal, and I had good enough English to understand most of the things, I think. And that lifestyle, I was a little, I don't want to say that I was afraid. I was like neutral, because like I didn't know if I should be excited or not, because I don't know what I left back home, and I don't know how college would look like there. I mean, I kind of know what people said, but I've never experienced that. So even right now, sometimes I'm like, it would be nice to experience college in Poland and see how their life goes, you know, because it's definitely quite different than it is here. So like, I don't want to say I was excited or unhappy. Like, it was neutral. I was neutral because it was both. Like one of my international student advisors told us, and I love that, and it's so true, that being international student, especially the one who stays here for a while, it's like a sinusoidal wave. So, you know, and like sinusoidal on purpose because you start low, you have no friends, you don't know anything, you're in a different country, not safe environment, but then you start making friends, you start getting better with the language, you start getting familiar with everything around you, and you start being happy, and then you start enjoying yourself and being able to enjoy what's around you and appreciate being in a different country. And then you get to the peak and you think that it's so great, but then you realize that all your friends are back home, your family is not here, this and that, and then you start going low, and then you hit a rock bottom, and then you just climb back up. So, and then eventually it stops going up and down, you know, but like, I really like that because it's very true. Like at first, and some people get there and are super excited right away, and they're not sad that they don't know much. Yeah. So it depends on the person, but I feel like, I don't want to say everyone because you cannot generalize, stereotype, but I would say most of the college students or international students go through that. It's like wave. You have all those transitions and eventually you get where you want to be, you know? And a bunch of people complain and they're like, oh, it's so terrible because of this or that. Like I pay for college more. But I always say that nobody forces me to be here. And it's a privilege, you know. I applied, I got accepted, I made it through all the paperwork and stuff. Yeah. And people complain about the visa situation and all that political stuff or whatever. And my approach to that is, it doesn't matter. If I want to, I can go to Poland tomorrow, and nobody will force me to stay here, you know. So like if I don't like something, I don't have to be here. So just suck it up and do whatever you need to, and if it doesn't work for you, then go somewhere else or go back home, and it's okay, you know. So
yeah, no, I love that attitude. It really is the way you need to be. Like, okay, this is the way it is. If I don't like it, I can go do something else. Like, you know what I mean? What I'm interested to know what drew you to America then. You've got this girlfriend that you've had, a sweetheart, you know, so why did you pick America University, the unknown, over the known and marrying that girl?
So basically I asked myself a question. Could I get married tomorrow or yesterday? And the answer was I'm too young, and no, I'm not ready for that yet. And I was like, if I can't do it right now, who said that I'm going to be able to do it in 5 years? So instead of going into that unknown, and my parents told me, and I didn't understand it, and now I kind of do, that at this age, especially when you're young, you need to open a bunch of doors, and you can always close them behind you if you don't like one of the doors or one of the ways. And so it's easy to close them, but not that easy to open them. So they told me, hey,
man, I love that.
You're going to open all the doors now, and if you don't like it, hey, you can come back after a year. And nobody forces you to stay there again. So you can come back, and that Polish college is still going to be here. We're still going to help you go through college. And, like, you know, if you decide that you don't like it, you can come even in 2 months, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm one of those people, I'm super stubborn, and I went, and I'm like, I'm not stopping halfway, or I'm not giving up, because that's not me. Whenever I start something, I want to finish, and I want to get it done. And they were right, like, you always have an opportunity to close the door behind you, but you don't always have an opportunity to open a new one.
Do you think moving here has opened your eyes to, like, since I know travel just even in the United States and then into Mexico, like I have way down in their missionary trips and whatever, seeing the different areas and experience different cultures, being around different, like the actual people that live there, not touristy stuff, but being and seeing how they live, opened my eyes to, like, oh man, it's not like this. It's not always the stereotypes, and there's so many neat things. It's the best education I have found for anything. And you said the world's open to you. So is that, like, coming over here and seeing that? Did that spark your more of an interest to see more of the world, or have you always been like that?
I think that, so my parents haven't traveled themselves much.
Yeah.
And apparently they're great people, but they always invested everything they had, both time and money, in order to let us explore the world. And there are 4 of us, so I'm sure it's expensive. And yeah, so like they would always send me. So my dad is 60 years old, and he went to the mountains for the first time in Poland, that are like 5 hours away from our home, for the first time last year or 2 years ago. So very recently, 60-year-old guy, you know. And here I am. Yep, and here I am, 20-year-old guy that was supported all throughout and was sent all over the place. And, like, I don't want to say I traveled a lot, but every opportunity there was that sounded reasonable, my parents would always just make sure to send us out. And I think that coming here, and honestly, especially being around Americans, made me realize how much travels help. Because you realize, so I had multiple people tell me that they're happy that they became friends with me, because they realized that sometimes, for instance, one of them, she said that at first she thought I'm rude, or that I'm too straight to the point.
No way.
That I'm too blunt. Blunt is the word that I hear a lot, and I don't understand it, because
I don't understand that either, to be honest with you.
Apparently I don't sugarcoat too much, and I just kind of speak my mind. I try to be nice, but if I like you, I'm not gonna lie to you and tell you that I like this or that.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna be honest. And, like, basically she told me later on that at first she thought that I'm just somewhat rude, but after she got to know me better, she realized that I just care for her, that I'm a good friend, and that just we don't sugarcoat.
Dude,
abroad.
That person has not had somebody be honest to them very often then.
But I loved it, because she was being honest with me. She told me straight out. I'm like, I appreciate it. And she's like, and in the past I was getting hurt, and now I appreciate when you say some stuff. And then she's like, I came across some other foreign people, and I realized that it's just us, that we are being treated very politely and, like, you know, stepping on your toes around you. So, like,
that's no way to go about things, man. I love the honest feedback if you get offended at an honest feedback, then you're just masking, like you're insecure about something. You know what I mean? Like if somebody tells me, hey, you're not good at that. Like, okay, am I not good at it? Yes, I'm not good at it. They're right. How do I fix that? Like, I want to fix it. I don't want to, don't sugarcoat around it. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, don't pretend that you're...
If you do that, I'm going to have the same faults. I'm going to have the same faults. That's why I said, like, I'm not saying that as a knock to her. I'm saying she doesn't have a lot of friends, like true friends that will be honest. Like a true friend will be honest with you. I can say,
or at least you would hope so. But yeah. I think that she also meant that true friend would say it more politely.
Oh, okay.
Just like still say the same thing, but just get to it differently.
Your delivery on it's just like
you're not very good.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never.
That's what I like.
Never told her that, but you're not very good. But like, even right now, my girlfriend is abroad, and I feel like it opens your eyes a lot whenever you go see different cultures and you start understanding different things. And so, yeah, I definitely think that traveling is just one of the best things ever. And you're right, when you go to the touristy place, it's different, but then when you live there, yeah, it's uncomparable. And like just so she gets to hang out with the family out there, and just hearing the experiences that she has with the family and how people behave, it's really awesome to hear that, because it reminds me, even though it's not Poland, it reminds me of like the things that I would do, and they're normal to me. And even some of her behaviors, like for me, they're not typical.
Right.
What she does while out there, I don't really understand. I mean, I understand it, but at the same time, now I understand and I know where it comes from. But if she just came and I met her there, I would say that she's weird, because like we're just different. So like, growing up and being exposed to different things is definitely very cool. And
yes, exposed to different, and that's one thing I've wanted my kids. Our kids we're trying to provide all of those things with all the different trips, like the different cultures, like see the way other people live, see the other areas, see what's around them. Like you said, the world's wide open, and I want them to know it's wide open to them too. Like there's all these different places, and not necessarily all of them are bad, like the way people would say. Even in America, like even in Texas, I've said this before, like people have heard on the podcast form. Growing up, everybody in Texas is like, those darn Yankees, like that. All those Eastern liberal people, they're a bunch of wackadoos, and they're not nice. And man, you go up there, they're the coolest people. Like you find that's not correct. And then when people from up there, they used to come down. I used to be in a touristy spot on South Padre Island, and they would come in all the time. Like some guys from Chicago came in. They were like, dude, I really thought that everybody's going to have cowboy hats and guns on their hips. Like that's really what they think happens. Like, oh, we have the guns on our hips, but you just don't know if we do or not. Like that's the surprise of it. Take your chance. But I mean, it's not what you if you stay in that one little spot the whole time, you think the world is that bubble.
And how can you say that you love Texas if you've never gone out of Texas?
That's my point right there.
I have a friend. We went for a trip to California, and actually there were 4 of us that went, and 3 of us loved it, and we would not say no to living there. We're not saying that it's the best place ever, but like, we've never lived there, but we would give it a shot. And he was like, it's nice for vacation, but I want to go back to Texas. I like it in Texas. And I respect that, because he tried, like he goes out there, he tries, he travels, and if he ends up in Texas, I'm totally fine with that, because he likes Texas, but he can't say that, or nobody can tell him that he's never tried, because he's tried, he's been somewhere else, and he's actually planning on moving somewhere else to live there. And if he ends up in Texas, good for him. That means that Texas is great and Texas is for him,
Yeah.
But he gave it a shot and gave it a try, so I agree with you 100%. But those cowboy hats, I was shocked that they do wear them.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of people that do wear cowboy hats.
Yeah, I was, at first when I got here, I thought that it's going to be one of those stereotypes that people just, Texas, they're going to wear cowboy hats and boots and all that. And I got here and I'm like, they actually do.
Oh, the boots is for real, man.
Yeah, everybody does.
The boots is a definite, I mean, that gets pricey and people go like crazy with their boots. I am not a boot guy. I've never been. I'm flip-flop, skate shoes, no shoes. Like, that's me. Like that's just who I am. I tried the boots when I moved up here. I tried to fit in, so I was like, everybody around me in my new job they got boots, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do this. I'm like, man, this slick. So I'm like sliding across the floor, and I'm like, dude, I gotta just be me. Like I gotta be who I am. I can just be kind of the unique weirdo guy in this situation that I'm in, and then that's what like I'm more natural and flowing when I'm doing what I do.
Oh, you should have seen me at Harry's, the country dancing place.
Yes.
I mean, apart from everything else, just me, my outfit, me wearing a t-shirt and Converse shoes. Mm-hmm. I felt pretty silly. And
yeah, because they're dolled up there, man.
Yep.
They're all dressed up in their nice suits. The starch jeans, shirts, and cowboy hats, and boots, and yeah,
you name it, it's there. And I was wearing my Converse, and if I was in 5% people that were wearing different shoes than boots, that's probably an overestimate. So, hey, but it was fun. I went, and I've been here for 5 years now, and I still don't have boots or hats. Any hat, I guess.
I mean, if it's not you, it's not you.
Yeah, it's not me.
You know what I mean? Yeah, that's what like. I love it. Like I used to live on some acres and have some animals, and I took care of them just the same way they do. But that life of that hardworking life, and the guys wearing cowboy hats to shade themselves from the sun, and the boots, and I mean, I totally respect and love it because it's like the backbone of everything all over the world. Like even in Poland, you've got to have people that do agriculture and farming and work the land and stuff. It's the same thing. That's kind of like the staple look, what they do. That's like their little trademark,
And I would partially disagree though, because like in Poland, when you go to like look at people working physically and I don't know, building construction workers, here you wear jeans and long sleeve shirt typically, and it totally makes sense because it protects you from anything that is around you really, or all those little dangers. While in Poland, when it's hot, they take off the shirt, they're wearing shorts. And the other day I was reading about like some people complaining because their boss didn't let them wear shorts. So it was like, 90 degrees outside, and they were upset because they cannot wear shorts. Yeah. And they're construction workers. So like now after being here, I'm like, that's silly. Like that's for their safety, like that's actually helpful. And I did a little construction here, not a big one, but like we had to use power tools. And I understand that it's smart to wear jeans. Yes. Like that's why they wear those, not because they love being hot.
No. Yeah. I don't like wearing the jeans in the hot, but if you've ever been hit by the things that you're like running through, or you're walking through like a high wooded area or something, whatever it is, like it protects you. I mean, it really does. Like I sweat crazy, and I love cold weather. So when it gets hot here and I've got to wear a long sleeve shirt all the time, I'm like, this sucks. Oh. But I don't want to wear a short sleeve shirt because I want to be protected from,
Yeah, so even though it's a trademark, not everybody understands that.
No, when I said that as in here, like the cowboy hat and the boots are a trademark of agriculture and the rural people
out here
gotcha. In America. Like Poland probably has their same little trademark of the people who work the land there.
Yeah, the older clothes, the better.
Yeah.
So, that's a trademark.
But you can tell who they are, right?
Yeah, for the most part, yeah.
Yeah, it's the same sort of thing. That's where I get the respect of that person as being who they are.
True. Yeah.
Like you're being who you are when you go and you wear Converse, and those people are nice to you. Most people aren't going to be rude to you just because you're different. They're going to laugh a little,
Oh yeah, they're interested. I say hi and they say, where are you from? So everybody wants to find out a little more. So at some point I was tired, and like actually I was making up. When I went to Poland, I was making up different stories. So I got so tired of telling them what I'm doing because everybody asked. At some point I started just telling my friends stories, and every day whoever asked me, I was a different person. And it was pretty fun. So like you get asked the same questions over and over again, and at some point it just gets boring. Whenever you start meeting new people, and like, where are you from? Okay, this, that, and then you answer all the same stuff. Yeah. And at some point, basically, I could like talk to you for 5 minutes and say exactly the same things that I always say. And then at some point, when I went to Poland, everybody asked me about my college, what I'm doing, and people that didn't know that I'm in the U.S. Sometimes they looked down on me as if I was a stuck-up person that he went to school in the U.S. So also that was to hide that and not get that response when I didn't want to deal with that, you know?
Really?
Yep. I would just tell them, I was a welder, I was everything.
So do people in Poland look at Americans like they're just like the arrogant American way?
I would say that Polish people there are two extremes. I don't think there's much in between. So it's either, and I would say probably most of them are in love with America, and like it's, Americans are like gods and everything that is in America is better. But then there are a bunch, as I said, it's a minority, but there are a bunch that are like, America is terrible. They're a bunch of stuck up people and, this and that.
Yeah.
So like I would say, and like literally I don't know anybody that would be in between, like the mixture of both. Either people just love it to death.
Really?
And they want to turn Americans and like speak more English in their words. So like for me going to Poland, actually, it frustrates me because now I appreciate Polish since I'm not there. But bunch of, even my little brother,
they want to talk like English.
They throw English words and it becomes Ponglish, and I'm like, that's not a thing.
Ponglish?
Yeah, that's not a thing. Like, you have Spanglish and you have this and that. I'm like, no, you have Polish and you speak Polish. But
that's awesome. That's so funny. Like you can, you have like Tex-Mex.
Yep.
Where they throw words in there. That sounds normal to me. I do not know what.
I mean, it's Polish and English, Ponglish.
That's super funny. Oh, that's awesome that they do that.
But you hear a lot of English words and like everybody understands it, but like there are some words obviously that you do not have a translation. But it's like, I don't know, radio and stuff, like you're not gonna come up with a new way.
That's what I talk about, like old Hebrew text in the Bible and the translation of it. When Martin Luther translated it and all that good stuff, is that there is a disconnect between what we understand and the way it's written, because there are words in every different language that do not translate at all. Zero. So what do you do with those words and those meanings? Where do they go? Like that's one of, like, I know you're saying like trying to learn a different language is difficult, and you're here and there's some things that don't have the same meanings, but and figuring that part out. So them learning English and they're like, I've got this word for a thing, but I don't know. It has no meaning. There is no word for it. There's no word for it in that language.
Yeah, there's no thing in that case.
Yeah. Kind of crazy, huh?
And it's a lot. Yeah, I was a resident assistant in the dorms, and we don't have that. And like, so how do I explain the resident assistant
to the people in Poland?
Yeah.
It's the guy that does this.
I was the person taking care of the students, but like, then you just go and, oh, what do you do? And then you talk about everything else.
Of students?
Yeah.
That's it.
No, it's not as easy as it sounds.
No, I'm saying like to them. It's like,
I know. Yeah. Huh. It was fun. It was a good experience.
So, I guess would you suggest, like, let's say you have kids down the line, would you suggest them, and let's say you're living in America, would you suggest them go to school somewhere else?
Abroad?
Yeah, just anywhere. Like if they got into Scotland or like where, you name it, like just name a country where they can go study and that's where they're gonna go. The same situation that you would be in.
I would love for them not to be limited by going to the same state, because obviously in-state tuition makes sense. So like then you're limited by that. But I hope that I'm not gonna. So my dad honestly pushed me out a little bit, and it was a risk for him. It was either I'm gonna love him for the rest of my life because he helped me and pushed me to a better future, I guess, or I'm gonna hate him because he pushed quite a bit to help me make the decision. And he took the risk, and he knew that it's gonna go one way or the other, and he thought that he knows me. So I don't have the kids yet, so as of right now, I might be smart and think that I'm gonna do it, but I would hope that I'm gonna let them do whatever they want. But I also think that me being Polish and me wanting to go to Poland exposes the kids more just automatically, because they see me that I speak different. And I know that they're going to have to translate some stuff for me eventually, because they're going to be native speakers, which I will never be. And there are going to be words that they know and I just don't. And like sometimes I have to have people pronounce things for me because I cannot do it. So like I just spell something, you know. So like I know that basically they, but at the same time I'm gonna speak Polish to them. I hope, until I get too tired of it. But at least at first, and then it would be nice for them if I ever get to have a kid, for them to meet the grandparents, to go see where I'm from and all that, because it's exciting. It's exciting to see them where I grew up, and I think that would be enough to just expose them and be more open to everything than people who are just kind of stuck in one place. So I think that whether I want it or not, or whether I plan it or not, it's just going to happen automatically, that they're going to be exposed and they're going to want to do stuff. And I work to go on vacation. So I really hope that I'm going to take, I don't work to, I guess, to pay rent and all that too, but I don't go to work to save money, to have a great car. I go there to take vacation and go somewhere cool. That's where I make money. And so then I'm assuming that I'm going to take them to cool places and they're going to be exposed. And after you're exposed, if you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. So
but, and not like you're forcing them.
I would recommend
from your, from all your experiences, what you've experienced going to a different place and experiencing a different country and that thing, obviously you kind of answered it, but, and I'm not saying push them towards it, but would you, if they said, hey, I've got this thing and I want to go to this country and do this, Dad.
Hey, go do it.
Yeah.
And if
you think all those like experiences of you coming here will like flood back in and you'll just be like, yes, do that because it's wonderful.
But you know, it all has pros and cons.
Yeah.
And I had to start making friends over. And yeah, typically when you go to college, you not lose, but like you make new friends and whatnot. But I had to learn the culture, so that was different for everyone here and for me to do and become more American and do what people do here. So it was great. I chose to be here, but I would say that it's not for everyone. And I don't want to say that I was a perfect person for it either, because like I'm open and I'm talkative and all that, but at the same time, sometimes it's not, some people just go out there, explore, meet new people, and just make a bunch of friends. And when I got here, it was a little shock to me, and it was a little overwhelming. And then not speaking English and all that. So I would say that it depends on the person you are. And then, so that's one thing. And two, you cannot force anyone to do anything. And I would say that it was great for me. But would I say that I would be worse if I stayed in Poland? I don't know that. I went in October, and I was really pleased to meet with a few of my friends that are, I don't want to say super successful, but they're like having good jobs, and like they're making their careers right now, and they're thinking about buying houses. And I'm actually a little behind, you know, on that end. So like my best friend, he doesn't have a wife, but like a bunch of them are getting married, you know. And like I would say that everything in my life got pushed back a little bit because I had to redo some stuff and learn, and like my stuff was going slower, you know. And because of that, I don't want to say that either of us won, you know. So I would say I would both solutions.
Some people like that settle down. You know, that, hey, I like the comfort of these things. I enjoy this. I do not want to have the nerve-wracking experience of making new friends. I don't want the nerve-wracking. I want the wife and the house and just like my quaint little thing, and I want the certainty of this and work for my career, and you know, that's what they wanted, and they went after it and got it. Like, you know, and then there's others that their soul's not filled unless they go out and do something. Like, you're kind of a miserable human being if you stay in that little place where they would be miserable going to a different place. And you know, everybody's, like you said, everybody's different and they're suited for different things.
But see, I think that it's because of my parents, because if they didn't tell me about opening a door, I wanted to, but I was hesitant. But then when they told me, I realized that they're totally right. And I wasn't one of those people that like needs to go and cannot sit in one place for too long. Like, I wanted to explore, but I was totally fine where I was, you know? So it's not that I wanted to get out of there no matter what cost it is, you know? So like, I was like, if I go, I go. If I don't go, fine. I'm going to be there and I'm still going to make best out of it, you know? So I would say that I was not a perfect person for leaving, but at the same time, I knew that I can make it work, and I'm stubborn, and like, I'm going to like it. So I would say that it all depends on the person, and like, I'm not going to force anything upon anyone.
Yeah.
Other than just going and trying something. Okay, so I will force. but not to go to college, but you know, like, just go out there and try something else.
Yeah.
Because I probably would not be able to stand someone telling me, hey, we live in Houston, I'm gonna go to Houston, live with the parents, or you pay for my apartment and I'm gonna live in Houston and go to college in Houston. That probably would not fly with me. Yeah. At least few hours away so you can be on your own,
Yeah.
And
so you would encourage that part where go be on your own, independent.
Independent but dependent at the same time.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I mean not so like my daughter going to school. Let's say she wants to go to wherever, New York, go to school. It's still here. We can still get to her. She can still get to us.
Exactly.
It's easy. It's a long ways, but it can happen. And if something tragic were to happen, she could always come back home.
How about UK? Would you let her go to UK or, I don't know, Denmark, Poland?
I would.
How about Japan? Just to make it a little further.
And I've told her this before, and this is the way I look at it. I raise her to be a strong, independent, good human. And I want her to do, follow her dream or the things that she loves to do. So if that leads her to Japan or wherever, and that's where she wants to go study because that's where it needs to happen to further whatever dream or situation that she has, go do it. I'm going to tell you of the risk involved. Here's the cost of what you're doing. Let's look at the pros and cons so that we're not blindsided by, oh, now I have all this debt from going here, or oh, that doesn't work out, or I need X amount of money. You don't want to get stuck. You want to know what you're, it's like managing something dangerous safely. So I would do that, but then I would be proud of any of our kids that went out and experienced something and did it. I'm not pushing them to do it. If they want to stay here. That's fine. That's you. But at the same time, if you want to, don't let other things hold you back that are silly. If that's what you want to go do, take advantage of it and do it.
And what if they just wanted to go abroad just to go and just put a finger in the map, I'm going to go here?
And work and save your money and go do it. I mean, I'm not going to fund it, but I am going to encourage it. And I think there is something to say, because I had to do it, and I think there's something to say for earning it. When you have to work and you have to earn it and you pay for that trip, that's a whole lot different than if somebody just gives you money and you just go and trash hotel rooms and you do whatever over there, When you have, for instance, us going to Hawaii, we worked, we earned it, and we went. And there's something rewarding about both of those things. Hawaii's awesome, but then we also earned that trip. That's like buying the house. Anything that you do, if somebody gave it to you, you respect it a little less.
You know what? Honestly, I'm spending my money way easier than I was spending my parents' money.
Yeah, but it's yours.
Because I made it. But typically it's the opposite. And that's why my parents didn't mind giving me money, because they knew that it's super difficult for me to spend any of it. Because I didn't make it. Yeah. Because I didn't make it, I knew how hard they had to work for it. And they were always full support, and at some point they told me, hey, go get a car. It seems like it's miserable to bike there everywhere in Texas, 100-degree heat, and you're on your bike for 40 minutes. By the time you get somewhere, it rains, it's cold, hot, you name it, it's here. And I'm like, yeah, but look at your car, you can't afford it. And they're like, we'll make it. But they knew that I'm not gonna just go and waste their money on silly stuff.
Yeah, but that's the point. You have the same thing. You have respect for what they did to make it.
Yeah, but at the same time, they would give me anything I asked for.
That is a parent, I can tell you right now. A parent will give anything. I know you don't have kids, and that is one thing I know, that it changes. It doesn't matter what your beliefs are in your head. My sister-in-law had this guideline of the way it's going to be, and then all of a sudden kids come out and they're like, boom, that thing blows up, and it sort of stays, but it's just like going to a different country. It's like that, your perception in your mind before you actually live in that is a different story altogether until you actually take that leap and you're in it.
Oh, yeah.
So I mean, they do it in different ways, by money and this and that, and it is hard for me to go, hey, you need to go make that money. But I know if I don't do that, then she's not learning that lesson, or he's not learning that lesson of earning it, what it takes, and I'm doing them a disservice in life, because then how you pay your bills, you know? Like, hey, learn how to do laundry so that when you go, you know how to do laundry. You know, I'm using laundry as an example. Some things you got to figure out, but you know, in your story. But that's what I'm trying to do with the big things. The big things, they need to know what to expect in the world, and then have at it. It's your playground.
Yeah, I feel like it's all easy to say and think that, as you said, and then the life happens and verifies everything. That's why I never say what I want to do, where I want to be, and this and that, because if somebody asked me 5 years ago if I'm going to be in College Station, Texas, after I was in Arizona where it was super hot and it was like 120 over the summer, like, I didn't believe that it can be that hot. And I was there and I'm like, wherever I go after I'm done with community college, I'm going where it's normal weather. 4 seasons.
So you came to College Station.
And then A&M had a cool logo, put a finger on the map, you know. I don't know if I told you, but I applied to Alaska.
Yeah. We did have that conversation. Yeah.
But I didn't want to buy winter clothes. So I figured I can stay in Texas. I got accepted both. And Texas looked more fun than the other school that I got accepted to. So I was like, why not? Has a cool logo. I'm going to go here. And if somebody asked me if I would stay here so long, all throughout college, I was saying, as soon as I graduate, I'm leaving. Like, the day of graduation, I'm like going somewhere else. But then I got a job here, and what choice did I have? If I got 100 jobs, maybe I would choose one, you know? But I didn't get that many, so I just took whatever there was, you know? Took the best one, and it happened to be here, so...
Now you got experience.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the way life works, man. You're making experience,
Exactly.
and now you have a job, you're working it, you're doing it, just like, you know, coming over here. I think your mindset's crazy about it, and like, I don't want to say different than most, but it's more adaptable to figuring those things out and moving along towards where you want to go. And your open mindset, if something pops up, you're going to be ready for it.
Oh, that's definitely... I think that's the biggest thing about going abroad. It shows you that it's doable. And whenever you go somewhere else and like somewhere totally exotic, per se, US is, I want to say it's similar to Europe, but at the same time it's super different. But it's not like, you know, total opposites. But anyways, I think that's exactly right. That like the biggest lesson that you learn is that it's not impossible. And after all, it's not really that hard. And people think that that's hard. And I'm like looking at them like crazy because it wasn't that bad. Like, it was just another transition, you know. But maybe I just don't realize that because I did it and it doesn't sound too bad. And now I'm open to going anywhere. And if I get a job or my job sends me anywhere, I'll go there because like you can make it work anywhere.
Yeah, but you have an idea if something pops up. Like, let's say somebody just hits you up and says, "Hey, I've got this job in, I don't know, what's one of your favorite places so far?"
In US?
Yeah.
I haven't been to so many.
Really?
Let's say Denver, Colorado.
Let's say somebody just says, "Man, I've got an electrical engineering job in Denver for you. Like, I'm hiring you. You're gonna make the same money comparatively here as you will there to come start out with us." You can go, okay.
Yeah, but you know, that also changes whenever you have strings attached. So like, for instance, if somebody told you, your question would be like, how about school for my kids? Is my wife gonna have a job there? And then, you know,
yes,
you're not independent anymore.
The more strings you get, the more of that process it takes. I do know that because there have been certain things for me that have happened, and you know, we've thought about them long and hard. Like, we really considered things, and it's like, is that place? But then again, I look at it as, was that place the right move? No, it ended up not being, because it wasn't worth the hassle.
And I think that my train of thought is, until I find a place where I'm like, hey, I love it here, I want to stay here, I'm gonna try not to settle anywhere too much, because it's really easy to get stuck. And even me in College Station, like, I kept saying that I don't like it here, but the more I'm here, the more used to I get, and the more I start liking it.
It's a nice place. It actually, like, the people, the area, I'm like, man, I love mountains. I love the ocean. I'm a long ways away from both of those here. You know, like,
Yeah.
I'm a long ways away from all the things that I love, and yet something about this place is nice and homey. Like, it's a nice place to come back to.
And see, and I never liked it here, like more than regular place or any other place. It was just another place, and I was saying that I'm gonna get out of here, and now I start liking it. But at the same time, until I find a place where I feel like, hey, that's where I want to be, I am open to go anywhere, which probably a bunch of people are not, because like my family is far away anyways,
but they haven't even been to the mountains and they're 5 hours away.
Yeah,
you know, I think that's part. Like, my parents are the same way. My parents are the same exact way. They like, we didn't take very many vacations. They didn't see a lot of, but and right now when they go on vacation, they sit at their house. That's what they like to do. Vacation. Yeah, they like to relax at their house, you know. And for the longest time, I was like, man, why are you not? The Grand Canyon's amazing. The mountains are awesome. Like, you're gonna get free time and sit at home. Like, what are you doing? That's what they like to do. Like, I wanted to get my brothers together and send them to all these places, but that's not what they enjoy. Like, if they enjoy it, they can go. But they don't. That's not what they enjoy. This thing, you know. That's what they like doing.
Actually, I had a conversation with my dad not too long, like a few months ago in May, and I was telling him like, hey, so you keep sending us, all of your children, and like telling us to go travel, explore, and like how, and you're truly proud of us that we get to see all those places, and like you're happy for us, but here you are, you're just gonna take off a few days off, and you're just gonna sit at home or I don't know, do nothing. And he was afraid to tell me at the time because that's exactly what he was doing. He already took off and he was gonna sit at home for like 2 days, just running chores and doing nothing. And eventually he told me, but then like the day after he organized a trip, because I told him like, hey, you're getting old, like go while you can, at least to say that you've seen it, because like until you went there and you saw it, I don't want, like how do you know that you don't like it, right? And he went, and then the last day of the trip, he organized the next year, so they booked the whole place for the next year, and he was so embarrassed, like, because he didn't say that because he's man of few words, but like he didn't tell me because I gave him hard time. That I'm like, Dad, those times are over, like we're bigger already and we make our own decisions, and like, yeah, you can help us, but like what example are you if you tell us to go places, go here and there, and like not sit in one place, and you do exactly that. And yeah, so he moved, and maybe he's 60, but he's realized that, you know, that he didn't experience it before, and he always had us going somewhere before he would go because we were his priority. But I'm like, we're not anymore. I mean, we are, but in different ways. So now go and enjoy yourself a little bit. And I was super proud of him, but you know, like I just had to like get on his nerves, get on his pride, and tell him that, hey, you cannot teach someone how to do something if you don't do it yourself, you know? How can you be an expert at something if you're not very good yourself? So he made it. Hey, I'm very proud of him now, though.
I love it, man. I love it. Well, say your name again so everybody knows exactly.
It's Filip.
Filip, and the last name?
Walczuk.
Did I say that right? Awesome.
Close enough.
Close enough. Well, thanks, Filip. It is awesome, man. I had a great time.
Thank you so much. I didn't know what to expect, but it was not too bad.
Thanks.